Hey guys, Kevin here, and in this new lesson, we are going to talk about how to turn a disadvantage into a perk. Okay? So, if you have advantages in life, that is actually your superpower or your perk. Okay? Um, yeah, we all have problems, we all have issues, we all have disadvantages, but if you use that disadvantage to make your own drama in your life, then it's just sad, right? That's why it's called drama. It's a sad story. But if you decide to take that disadvantage, to take that problem and use that to make your life better, then that is going to be your perk or your superpower. So, here's an exercise that you can work on. Get your notebook and write 10 things about you that you see as a disadvantage. Maybe you didn't finish college. Maybe your parents were mean to you. Maybe you were bullied. Maybe you were experiencing some form of depression or anxiety or something like that. Um, it can be a professional disadvantage or advantage. Maybe you're a little slower when it comes to learning. Maybe you're sometimes late. Maybe, uh, what else? I can't think of anything right now. So, yeah, like, just give it some thought. Think about it. You don't have to answer immediately. Just give it some time. And, yeah, either way, you need to sort out your personal issues, or else these issues are going to hold you back in an interview and also in your other, you know, important opportunities in life. So that's what happens. So we also have that voice in our head that tells us that we are not good enough. So if getting a job is hard, it's even harder because there's another voice telling you that you're a loser. There's this other voice telling you na hindi mo kaya. There's this other voice telling you that you should have stayed in school, or you should have listened to your parents, or you should have whatever. All these negative voices, all these negative remarks. And you need to know how to answer this voice by saying, "Thanks for sharing." And I would like to test it myself and see what I can learn from the experience for future opportunities. Because the voice in your head, the one giving you negative feedback, the purpose of that voice is to keep you alive, to save you from danger, to save you from embarrassment. And back then, if you lived in the 1800s or even before that, if you get embarrassed, that usually means that it's almost as good as death. Because if you're embarrassed back then, it's a small community where everyone knows everybody, and people begin to hate you. Number one, you're not gonna get a job, and number two, you're not gonna get a mate or a partner or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and you're basically going to be forever alone and no one supporting you if that happens back then. But right now, people are more forgiving, people are kinder. So if you make a mistake, all you have to do is to just apologize and make a correction, and you'll you'll be forgiven. Like here in the Philippines, we have government officials who are sued for or accused of stealing a lot of money, and they're back in power. They have positions in high office in the government. So just think about that. So that means that if you make a mistake when you're looking for work, then big deal. Fix it and then come back. Come back with a better story, come back with a better offer. That's the idea, okay? So, I call this the art of the comeback. And sometimes you or someone else points out a disadvantage, often often the disadvantage that people point out are past disadvantages that you should be over with and use it to stop you from moving forward. So, in a lot of situations, people who knew you from back then. For example, if if you grew up, you're not doing very well in school, and then everyone in your class is working for low-paying jobs, and then you say, "Nah, I'm gonna work in a call center, make 20,000 a month, make 30,000 a month." They're making low-paying jobs. They're gonna say, "Nah, no, you're not good in school. Syempre Tagalog. Hindi ka naman papasa doon. Hindi ka ano yung term Tagalog? Hindi ka naman hindi ka naman magiging hindi ka naman aasenso doon kasi nung school nga lagpak ka, nung school bagsak ka lagi, nung school lagi ka nangongopya sa akin. Ako nga hindi nga ako matanggap-tanggap sa ganyan. Ikaw pa kaya?" And that's what happens. People are gonna discourage you. People are going to say that you can't do it, and what? And keep you in the low income position in life, right? But think about it. Give it some thought. So and don't try to just argue with them. Don't try to fight them. Don't start a fist fight. Kasi kung ako yun, naghahamon na ako ng away. Pero iba na tayo ngayon. Nagbago na tayo. So just think about this. That person is not against you. And whenever you have a good plan to change your life, as I've said in the previous videos, whenever you have a good plan, you will be tested if you can handle moving forward. So, the best thing that you can do is to keep going and learn from the experience. So, for this video, for this exercise, I wrote my own as an examples. So, if you have a blog, or if you don't feel like blogging, you can just write it down on your journals, and you can share it with me if you want to. So I'd really love it if you wrote your answers down, and knowing yourself and how to use what you have and do what you can is the key. So this is my idea, this is my lesson, so I'm gonna go first, okay? It's alright. So one of my disadvantages is I only have had 1 year in college. And then, as a part of my story, so when people ask me, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, or whatever, one of the things that I say, depending on the kind of person that I'm talking to, I say that having only 1 year in college makes me unique. Because a lot of people that I know personally, they settle or grow stagnant or stop learning after they receive their diploma. So I've been going out and meeting a lot of people. My first job is related to sales, and I started, I entered the dating scene. I started going out with other girls and other people, and I'm generally just curious with what people are doing with their lives. So I ask them about what they're doing to improve themselves, and in a lot of cases, I ask people, did you finish college? What's your course? About like getting to know each other, and then I ask them like, what kind of books do you read? What kind of seminars do you attend? What kind of things are you learning? And unfortunately, for a lot of people, learning stopped as soon as they get handed that piece of paper called a diploma. For a lot of people, for a lot of people, most of their learning stopped when they received that diploma. So they graduated from college. You check out their Facebook. You see their photos with the graduation gown, the toga, that hat, that funny hat. You see that? They have that. They have a photo with a principal or the dean or whatever. They're holding that piece of paper, and they're done. That's it. That's the end of their education. They stop learning, they stop buying books in general, and that's it. The last book they read is a college book, and that's sad. They stop learning things. All right. So as a result, the maximum position that you can reach when you graduate from college, when you're a fresh grad, is the maximum position that they can reach. And that's the reason why a lot of college graduates stay in low income positions, low income jobs, right? You stop learning. So, what I tell my interviewer is that because I did not possess a diploma, because I did not possess this excuse to stop learning, I never did stop learning. My education continued long after I left school. Alright? So, I'm self motivated and I learn through my own, through reading, from personal experimentation, and from learning from people who are better than me. Because I am coming from a position where I do not have this uh, way of boasting that I finished college. I'm humble enough to learn from people who are better than me. Alright? So I ask people who know what to do, how to approach certain problems, how to approach certain challenges in life. So, wala akong sakit na, oh, I know that already. But nothing in my life is changing. And the fact that I left school early, it gave me a 4-year head start in the business world. A lot of people who graduated from college have very little work experience. So they only have the lessons, they only have the concepts, but they have little experience. They have zero failures, very little failures, because to graduate from college, you need to pass every class. Alright? And for a lot of college students, if they fail, they get depressed. And some people try to kill themselves because they fail and they get depressed. So I don't have that. For me, failure is a normal part of life. You know, people quit on you. You try something and you get rejected. That is normal for me. So if a person fails, it doesn't bother me very much. I just try something else. I just try moving forward. Alright? And that's been my training. And as a result of my continuous learning, I also have an interesting combination of skills. And as far as my skills go, most of the people that I've worked with, they have no they're usually surprised at what I can do, right? They're usually surprised at the things that I know. A lot of people, after talking to me, they couldn't believe that I only had 1 year in college. They usually think that I'm part of an advanced program or something, but I'm not very intelligent. Like, I took IQ exams and all that, and I'm just like slightly above average. It's not, my intelligence isn't very high, but what I have is more of a practical intelligence, more of an interest in learning, more of an interest in growing myself. And that developed because I didn't have that college diploma. I don't have that excuse to stop learning. I don't have that excuse to tell other people that I'm better than them. But here's something that I want to share with you. I secretly want to be better than them. So what I did was I tried to learn. So what happens is when you compare me with someone who finished in college, and then you found out what I know and what I can do compared to someone who finished college, you'll know that that guy's gonna lose because I'm gonna beat him, because I can outwork him, and I'm more knowledgeable, I'm more skillful, and I'm more experienced. So that's the idea. So that's one of my disadvantage, and that's how I turned it into a strength. The second, wow, shit, I have 10 examples. This video is gonna be long. So, the second example is that I'm a slow learner. What does that mean? When I hear something, usually I don't understand it immediately. And when I say understand it immediately, when I hear it, you explain something to me, I get you, but I'll get it, I'll understand it better when I try it out. Okay? So it takes me a while to think about certain things, think about certain concepts. And what happens is I learn things with my body and from experience. So if I'm trying to learn something, if I'm trying to do something, I have to do it personally first. And then I'll understand it. And then I'll be able to, make that skill a part of me. And sometimes I can think of like, sometimes I don't immediately recognize patterns and connect dots immediately. But whenever I learn something, I tend to master it really fast once I'm hands on. And when I learn things, I can usually do it to the point that I can do it in my sleep. So that's how good I am when I learn something. Number three, I think I have ADHD. This is a disadvantage because I sometimes think like 1,000 thoughts per second. Sometimes I think of 100 plans or 100 ways to make a plan work, and I have several backup plans when I do something. And I also come up with ideas to tweak things or to make things better. And yeah, it's always I'm always thinking of something. I'm always thinking of how to improve my life, how to think something better. So sometimes when you're talking to me and I'm distracted, I'm just like thinking on how to make something better. And I also, I also believe that nothing is permanent. So, like, something works, there might be a better way to do it. And I usually have to just keep doing something. And I guess that's the advantage of someone who's like me, someone who thinks they have ADHD. Like you just have to keep working. And I guess the main advantage for me for having that condition is that I've never been comfortable just staying at home. Like I feel like a total loser when I'm just at home or if I'm not employed. Like I just have to always be doing something. Okay, number four. I'll try to make this fast. I was raised by a single mom, so that's at an early age I was in touch with the challenges of reality, and I wasn't raised in a very sheltered home or a spoiled home, so I guess I was spoiled to some extent, and I saw and experienced problems that most parents kept to themselves. Uh, okay. Um, I knew that money wasn't unlimited and had to look for ways to earn at an early age. And this led me to having a combination of ideal and practical skills. And I've made several practical choices and, wanting to become the perfect hire, wanting to become the perfect partner in relationships, and to be self-sufficient as a person in general. That's one of the things that I learned from the experience. Number five, we do not come from a wealthy family. So I didn't start out with a wealthy family, so I'm not fixated on having a high maintenance life. They say that experiencing poverty brings out the creativity to overcome tough times. And I have a lot of ideas, but I can guarantee that they are practical and actionable. So not out of this world or philosophical. Number six, I'm not that good in math. So that's true. I love math, but it's mostly one way. Math doesn't love me, but I shouldn't really be saying that. But I pay really good attention to math when it comes to counting money. Number seven, I live outside the city. So I live an hour away, but when I wrote this, it's Makati is an hour away, but traffic is worse now. So it's an hour, almost 2 hours away from the city. Um, and this gives me an advantage of being forced to start earlier and not leave the house at the last minute. So I'm talking about attendance. I also get a couple of hours each day to decompress and leave work at the office and leave personal problems at home. Number eight, I didn't do well in school. So, what's the advantage? I did better than I did bet although I didn't do well in school, I did better at other things like creating art, making connections, writing correspondence, solving out of the box, solving problems out of the box, and eliminating. I'm also good at eliminating unnecessary tasks. So at school, that translated to drawing in class, being talkative, passing notes in class, not following instructions, and not copying notes. The reality is, I summarize notes into keywords that are sometimes difficult to read. But yeah, that's how I did. Number nine, I failed a lot of times. It took me a while to learn this task, but the thing is, I handled this task enough times to know the ins and outs, and I wasn't unrealistic to get this right the first time because it was the first time that I handled a task like this. So, my previous experience was, and wow, I need to fix this. So, the main point is I fail a lot of times, right? So, what's the advantage of failing a lot of times? When you fail a lot of times, you will figure out what works and what doesn't work. So, all you need to do is to just try and figure out, what you need to do. So, if you have a problem and something doesn't work, stop doing that. Do something else. Does it work? Yes or no? If it doesn't, try something else. Did it work? Yes or no? If it doesn't, try something else. And if it does work, remember that it does work and add it to your notes. That's the reason why I recommend that you have a journal. Um, Number 10, I moved jobs several times. So, wait, before I read it to you, I'm gonna read it here because I might need to update this. Okay, I moved jobs several times. So, personally, I see all work as partnerships, and with that in mind, the contract should be mutually beneficial. What that means is that you, as a company, should benefit from me working there, and I, as the worker, should benefit from working at your company. So you're happy and I'm happy. So that's what that means. So if the contract or the partnership is not no longer mutually beneficial, so instead of me, trying to do poor work and not being happy with the work, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to disengage the agreement and let the employer know that the relationship is not working out. And I'm gonna look for a better job. So if I'm not happy with the job, I'm gonna look for a better job. Okay? And when I transfer, chances are I usually just found a better job. So, now, here's the thing that I want to share. These answers are not guaranteed to get me through the interviews. And sometimes that can be a good thing. Because sometimes, if you don't get hired in a call center, maybe that's not the right company for you. Maybe you should work somewhere else. Because a lot of call centers pay really well. A lot of call centers pay on time. A lot of call centers have opportunities for promotion, but not all call centers are like that. Some call center companies are not very good. some call center companies are so barat, they pay their agents less than minimum wage. That happens. So, if sometimes if they don't like you for what you are, what you can do, someone else will. Another company will. Another company will find you valuable, right? But never stop trying to improve yourself. Never stop trying to become the perfect person or the perfect hire. That's a high standard to aspire to. And if you want to make your life better and you're doing things to make your life better, then you should be able to make your life better, right? And it's difficult, it can be hard, but just go ahead and do that. And it's better than just staying at home watching TV, Facebook all day. That's the most boring thing in the world. You're just throwing time away and you're not getting any money from it. So again, thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing this. Thank you for supporting the Facebook page, the YouTube channel, my website. If you need additional help, just send me a message, give me your email address, and we'll send you a bunch of lessons. And I'll do my best to answer questions when I'm logged in. And we're trying to do more posts like these. So thank you for showing your support. Okay? Alright. Bye, guys.